Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, December 10th. I've got a slightly different angle right now because my Christmas tree is right here. Not a lot of stitching happened this week. I just think haven't had much of an interest in stitching. I'm not sure. So hopefully it'll come back. I did minimal stitching throughout the week, so I only have a tiny bit to show of progress, but on Friday I finally got time to work on a small little project that I was going to work on for somebody for Christmas, and I can't show it yet, but on Friday I decided to kind of compile a chart for it, and then of course I had to pick out all the fancy floss that I wanted to use, and then had to start stitching to see how it would all look. And I finished that this morning, so I will share that once the recipient has received it, but that's been fun, and hopefully that maybe will help kickstart my stitchy bug a little bit. I just feel like there's other things that I'd rather do sometimes. So throughout this week, the beginning of the week, I did a tiny bit on Snow Queen, so this is what that looked like before, and here's where she is now. Not a lot of progress. I have some snow right here and a little bit of the skirt starting to get filled in right there. Hopefully this week I'll just buckle down and work on this because I would just like to get it done. I don't know that it's necessarily imperative that it be a Christmas present because we've already gathered enough, presents for my daughter, and she knows I'm stitching this, so it wouldn't be a surprise. But it would be nice to get it done at least before the end of the year because I just want it done. And I want the progress or the finish payment for a new start, New Year's Eve new start. Because I probably will only get one, I'm thinking. If I finish this and Storytime Sampler, then I can start something new. Adventure Awaits by the Caterpillar Cross Stitch I would also like to finish. I'm not sure that I will because of how little I have stitched lately. But it's possible if I kind of just get back into stitching here. This is what my Storytime Sampler looked like before. And here that is now. Not a whole lot of progress. Again, I finished this border and started the border of the next one. And like I said, I'm going to do these two together, color complete them at the same time. So I might bring this into the car for my travel stitching. At the beginning of the week, I've been working on September in the car from Little House Needleworks, and the first day, like Monday, I was like, oh, I probably should have this in here rather than September. I kind of didn't feel like working on September because I wanted to work on this in the car. But I never remembered to bring it. Before I was in the car, I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to bring the Storytime Sampler instead of September, but September's what I have, so I'll work on that. And Wednesday, I just wasn't feeling it and played a game on my phone instead. So Wednesday, I don't think I stitched anything all day long. Because most days, even if I don't have time at home, I at least work on this in the car, and that day I didn't work on it in the car, I didn't have time to do any regular stitching. Nothing on Wednesday. But now I've gotten far enough on this that I kind of want to finish it before I move on to something else. I don't really want to leave it in the middle. So I might, and I also want to work on December. I got the threads for December, and so I kind of want to work on December because it's Christmassy. And I'm kind of feeling like that right now. So we'll see. When I finish September, we'll see how much I've been able to get done at home, whether or not Storytime Sampler needs to come with me in the car, or if I can switch to December for the rest of the month. But this is what September looked like last time. And here it is now. I have the dark brown finished, and I worked on Ye Old Gold, which is like the goldy yellow color. That's all finished as well. And I thought about finishing up this crab cakes color around here, but I decided to go back and work more on the house because I had one strand done of this light brown, and then went to finish this color, but then decided to go ahead and finish the house because it was just kind of, I didn't want to leave the house half finished. So I'm working on that medium color on the house to finish that up first. And I don't know that I'll necessarily do all of the medium brown before I go finish the crab cakes. I might finish this string, then do the rest of this border, and then go back to the medium brown to do the rest of the house and the trees and stuff, and then go ahead and do the green. Oh, and there's orange. There's a little bit of orange too. So, a decent amount left, but it's kind of exciting now that it's, you know, I can see more of it come together, so I don't really want to stop in the middle now. So those are, again, my same 3 goals for this week, is to work on those projects. Hopefully I have something more to show you next week. That would be wonderful. My temperature giveaway is still happening for 1 more week. It's on the previous video. You can go enter a comment over there. Please do not mention the word giveaway, or I'll have to delete your comment, because I want to make sure my subscribers and stitchers get these charts. So I have temperature balloons. That's what your actual chart will look like, so that you go in the right order. And temperature quilt, I also have a mock-up of a dark version, which is a little more modern and striking. I will probably be doing mine in a lighter color. I have this charted for a DMC color that's like a muslin looking color, but I'm gonna try to use a fancy floss for my sashing. And I also have my Temperature Garden available in both a regular version like this, like that, or one that's got some low temperature, you know, sections of the petals as well. And I'm going to give away 4 of those next week for my 4,000 subscriber thank you present. I had a couple questions regarding these. One was, I was a little bit surprised that some people hadn't heard of temperature patterns yet. That's something that I have heard of for a little while. I think they started with like crocheted afghans, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been the first thing that used this concept. When I was researching the quilt one, I discovered people are quilting something similar to this, or a different looks. You know, they're quilting with fabric to make a temperature quilt. Cross-stitch temperature charts have been around for a while. I think a common one is like a bookmark where you do a line every day, or a dot every day, or a block every day, or something. And I've seen those off and on, but the concept has always interested me, but not necessarily the finished product or the look. So I ran across one a few years ago that was flowers, but the layout wasn't really working for me, and so I decided to make a layout that I liked, that checked all my boxes, and so I came up with the Temperature Garden, which all of you seem to like very well as well, so I figured let's kind of run with that and see what other ideas I might come up with. So I came up with the quilt and the balloons, and what you do is, this maybe we'll show it on this one, each block is 1 day, and for this one there's the top of the block is the high and the bottom of the block is the low, and you stitch a block a day, and at the end of the year you have a completed project, and each day is assigned a color. So I have included charts where there's, it depends on the range that you choose, but there's a variety of ranges for wherever you live. And each DMC color is assigned a certain amount of temperatures. So on that day you look up and say, oh, it was 82 today. So you look on your chart, find the one that includes 82 degrees, and that's the color that you stitch that day. And so everybody's will be different. Unless you're neighbors. You and your neighbors would look the same. But I found it's a really fun way to like walk through the year and keep track of the days a little bit differently than I usually do. And so I really enjoyed when I worked on this. This coming year I'm planning to do a quilt and a balloons, just because I want the shop models. And someone asked, how are you planning to do that if you can't get your temperatures before the new year, since I'm doing no starts 2019? These are Etsy business stitching, so technically I can get away with it, of starting something in the middle of the year if it's like a model stitch. I could still, that's not personal, it's for my shop. So in that sense, I could get away with it. However, I think I'm going to try to start them before the end of the year. With the quilt, it'll be easy. Start in the top corner with the sashing. So when I figure out the exact color I'm going to use, I'll start that before the end of the year. And then on January 1st, I can start or 2nd actually. I usually look up the temperatures the following day. So on the 2nd, I can do my first block, but on the very latest, the 31st, I can do some of the sashing, so then technically get started. And same with this one. Like, it would probably be easiest to chart over and start with January 1st, which is right here, but I might come down and work on the cloud just to say that I've started it, and then count up to January 1st from the cloud. So that's what I'm planning to do. I haven't cut my fabric, but I think I do want to start them before the end of the year, just in the spirit of things, because they are large projects. But I do have, pattern ideas in the works for my shop that if I were to work on a shop model throughout the year, I wouldn't count that as a start, because it's not a personal project that would be in my WIP count, it's for my shop. And so that seems different to me. So if anyone has an issue with that, too bad. But that makes sense to me, that it's business stitching, it's not personal. So, but I think I will try to start these before the year, just to kind of keep the concept of no new starts as pure as possible. So that's my plan. Wish me luck this coming week. And hopefully getting a good chunk of the Snow Queen finished, and as well as the Storytime Sampler. I really want to make good progress on these. I would also like to maybe get close to a finish on September, so I can work on the little December one before the end of the year. That would be really fun, because those colors are really pretty. And that's it. I think if you want to enter the giveaway for a temperature chart, you can head over to my previous video, which I can't remember the number, but it's titled A Long Time Coming or something like that. And enter over there. You got one more week. I will hopefully do the drawing next week on the 17th. And I already have 77 people signed up, and they're still kind of rolling in consistently every day, so I didn't want to, I'm glad I went 2 weeks, because I think there's probably a few more people who might be interested. So until then, happy stitching. I hope you have time for stitching and have a stitchy bug. And in the meantime, Merry Christmas, and talk to you later. Happy stitching.